All right, guys, we are here with TJ, another funded trader interview. It's good to have you here on the YouTube page.
Thanks, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so let's get into, how did you find the funded trader and kind of get started with us?
So I had heard of FTMO way back when, probably a year and a half ago or more. And one of my good friends, Steve, who actually introduced me to Forex, he had heard about some of the other prop firms and mentioned the funded trader had, just better pricing, better rules of drawdown, and really everything looked better. So once I checked it out, I was pretty much sold.
Now, you just passed the three 200Ks, right?
Yes.
Right. So what made you kind of just go right for the jugular, as you say?
Yeah, right.
Went for it all.
Well, because to be honest, I was just really, I guess whenever I do stuff, I kind of go all in. So when I saw that I could do the 200K challenge, I had already talked myself into doing at least that. But then once I saw that I could do three 200K challenges, I thought, well, if I pass one, I'm just going to want to start another challenge to get another 200. And honestly, it was kind of one of those interesting mornings that I just woke up and felt good. And I was like, maybe I'm just going to go all in and just do this, because I felt like the challenge would be, having to go between each account to place my trades and just to manage it accordingly. But I'm not that much of a scalper, so I wasn't as concerned about it. And I went for it because I knew if I get a 600K account, that could be a potential life changer if you can capitalize on it. And for some people, a 50K account could be, but for me, I wanted to get a big account.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. So just to backtrack a little bit for you guys that don't know, that are watching or coming to our YouTube channel for the first time, this is the Funded Trader. We are a funding company. We supply serious traders with capital to trade with. So you go through our two-step evaluation. If you pass the two-step evaluation, then you will be given whatever account size that you ended up starting out with. So TJ elected to go for the three 200K challenges, and he passed all three. And how long have you been trading live? Did you just go live this week, or how long has it been?
So I'm actually I should get funded this Sunday because after I completed everything, my account I'll technically have my account on Sunday. So
okay.
Just completed it about a week and a half ago. So I know that there's a little lag time, but
so you're getting geared up, and
yeah,
I'm ready to go. What's something that you're doing kind of in anticipation of getting started?
I got a 600K account on FX Choice to just, that's how I've always had as my broker for my personal account. Mm-hmm. So I just created basically another account that will mirror what my account is going to be, just to get used to position sizing, as well as just seeing, when I was risking 1% or 2% on the 200K accounts, I got used to seeing 2,000, 4,000, drawdown at times. And so now I need to, kind of get ready to see that 6,000 to 10,000 in drawdown. So I've just been trading demo, kind of getting prepped for it.
Yep. And it's a good lesson for all you guys is you can easily simulate these challenges by trading demo, right? One thing that you should do in preparation, and there's a YouTube video that explains how to do this, is do a little free trial for yourself, just like TJ's getting ready, testing out the lot sizes, testing out what the drawdown is going to be like on an account that might be a little bit larger than something that he's used to. You guys should definitely be doing the same. Do your due diligence, make sure you guys are ready before going into the challenge. This is a funded trader here, and he's going into his challenge, opening demos, testing everything out, right? Doing everything exactly the right way. So let's talk about, how did you get into, trading Forex? Take us back to kind of the beginning where this all started.
So about 6 months before COVID, one of my good friends in Miami, Steve Zima, he was a really good colleague of mine, and we've been friends forever. And he's always been trying to get me to trade Forex. And I just nothing really grabbed my attention because, obviously if you go YouTube Forex, you don't really, you find either, end of the spectrum. It's amazing or you're going to lose all your money. Don't do it. So One day we were hanging out in Miami, and he had showed me just a huge win that he had on like a $5,000 account. He basically doubled the account, and then I was pretty much, intrigued at that point to see what I could do. And whenever I started, getting into it just to play with demo, it just opened my eyes. And I used to play a lot of Texas Hold'em poker, so I started to learn that there were a lot of, disciplinary and just patience, and a lot of similar probability-based mindset type, strategies that poker players have, as well as Forex traders. And once I got into it, I was hooked.
Nice. Yeah, we actually did interview recently another poker player. So it's sort of a theme here, these probability-based strategies. And I feel like if you're coming from a poker background and you have a lot of experience in poker, you're kind of tried and tested when it comes to the psychology behind like playing your hands and playing the games and whatnot. And you can kind of take that into trading, and it's even a little bit not easier, but it's a little different because it's not like you're at the table with other players. You're kind of just sitting there by yourself, right? So it's not like you gotta bluff or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely taking that probabilities mindset into this is something that I see as being definitely positive. So only 6 months ago that you really got started with Forex trading in particular.
This was 6 months before COVID. So
before COVID. Okay.
Yeah, and then whenever COVID hit, I had all the time in the world to really dive in. That's when I started reading books, growing my account, just really diving in. I originally started with like a forex.com account. And then I started learning more about, crypto in, crypto out, and, playing with other brokers, and just, exploring all my options and education. And, I took a lot of courses, and, that was, now it's been almost 2 years. So it's actually been over 2 years since I started trading, but, since the COVID days, that's when I really I feel like dove in head first at that point.
Yeah, I totally forgot how long it's been. It's been quite a while. I didn't even realize. So 2 years is a good amount of time, even a little more, I guess, or about 2 years. Yeah, it's definitely a good chunk of time to get started with everything. And when was give us like a timeline of like the first time you went for like a funded account? Was it with us or with another firm?
Yep, with you guys.
Okay.
That was the first time. So, it was about a month ago.
So you must have, obviously, maybe you talked to a couple of colleagues of yours, asking questions here and there. But what has kind of your experience been? It's interesting because this is really your first prop firm that you're working with, right? So obviously you probably had a lot of questions, stuff like that. What has been kind of your experience so far, not only with us, but just in prop firms in general? Like, what is your overall feeling at this time?
I mean, I feel like it's an awesome opportunity, because when you enter the Forex market, you already have an opportunity just with leverage, right? If you can manage it and use it to your advantage. But then when you actually look at a prop firm, well, they're giving you even more leverage. Mind you, you have to pass the challenge, and you have to keep the account and grow it. But I think that is the best part, is that the opportunity is there. I'm not going to be able to get a 600K account because I don't have 600K. Well, now, I have that opportunity, and I'm more than willing to give up 20% to trade with that kind of capital. So, that's my biggest thing, is just knowing that the opportunity is there and how big of the opportunity, it is. And then, I think now actually the real challenge starts that I, have my funded account, because the rest is just to get it. But now that I have it, I have to keep it, grow it, and turn it into something.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in a second. I have some questions kind of around your approach and how you think you're gonna manage the funded account. But I'm no financial advisor, but you made one point where it's like you don't have 600,000 of your own money, right? And even if you did, I mean, you're not gonna put in all your money into a trading account, right? It's really, you should only be allocating like 10 to 15% to these like alternative investments, as Forex, type trading, cryptos, and all of this. So your net worth would have to be over 6 million, to be starting to put in 600 grand, into a trading account, right? And although the leverage isn't, by the standards of an unregulated 1 to 500, it's 1 to 100, but still, I mean, you're getting good leverage on the account. There are rules to stay within. I would say before kind of getting involved with the whole prop model where have to stay within the daily parameters, kind of maybe risk less. Were you always kind of watching your risk, or were you in the beginning going more for like those account flips? Was that more kind of your thing in the beginning of it?
So when I had my own account, I got used to risking 2 to 3% a trade pretty regularly.
Mhm.
And at times, even if the trade went against me, I would feel comfortable entering a second position if I still felt confident in the general trade direction. But I had to change my entire strategy in terms of position sizing with the funded trader. Because if you risk 1% per trade and you happen to have 12 losers in a row, or really just 10, you're right on the edge of losing the account.
Mhm.
So I had to start, kind of messing with my position sizing and just getting ready to, adjust that. I think that was the biggest hurdle for me with the prop firm, in particular, was just having to lower my risk.
Now, one thing that comes to mind, so you went through these three challenges, you passed. Obviously, is this something going into it where you were like, I'm ready, I'm gonna pass this, I'm dead set on this, or was it like, am I ready yet? We'll see how it goes. Like, what was kind of your mindset going into it?
I felt pretty confident, just because I've pretty consistently over the past 2 years been able to grab 10% in a month.
Mhm.
There's some months where my other career doesn't allow me to trade as much, so it's been kind of my side hustle, so to speak. So just recently, I just knew that I had a lot of mornings free to trade, which is when I really like to trade, and I've developed a very efficient system over the past over the past 2 years. So whenever I went into it, actually my other friend, he just became a funded trader with you guys as well, and him
Mhm.
and I talk every day. So we both kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and I think that's a big part of trading too, is to have other people in your wheelhouse that are talented traders and successful. And yeah, we both kind of went into it and said, hey, if we can't pass this, then why would we trade our own account?
I think that's a good point. I've seen this as a theme recently. People I've talked to, they have it's not necessarily a team or it's a team, but it's just colleagues that you're sharing ideas with, you're connecting with, networking with about what you're doing. I mean, sure, you're your own boss, right? But it's still good to stay connected with these other people that are doing something similar to what you're doing, bouncing ideas around with them. So that's cool to see. Obviously, you got a buddy of yours that's funded as well. Hopefully both you guys, get some withdrawals here and have some success with us. Let's get a little bit into the strategy here. Where did you really learn from? Like what you're using now back in the beginning?
So I read a book called Naked Forex, and I got into the Forex scalper. So I'm not sure how many people out there have looked into all of the different Forex gurus. Forex scalper is a big time supply and demand trader. And then I ran across Books Don't Lie. Really enjoyed learning from like Uncle Ted and some of those guys, and then just kind of that really blossomed from there. And then I would start kind of marrying what I saw in the charts with those strategies.
So you're like a tried and tested, went on the internet and found different people to look for and just kind of learned.
Exactly. Honestly, YouTube. YouTube did a lot, and then just having to cut your teeth. You have to put in time.
Yeah, at one point you could watch all the videos you want, but you got to apply it at the end of the day. You got to sit there and you got to start to make those decisions for yourself. So tell me a little bit about, what strategy are you using right now? Are you like an intraday swing trader, scalper? What would you kind of describe yourself as?
I look on like an hourly and 2 hour time frame. So I'm more of like an intraday trader. I would say on average, I'm entering a trade, let's just say at market open, right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then I could be in it for an hour or 2 hours, just depending on when it goes to where I think it will go. I also, because of where I live in South Florida, I'm actually totally open with placing overnight trades. So I place a lot of overnight trades to catch the London session. And, obviously those trades I have to set a stop loss and take profit and go to sleep.
Hmm.
And those are some of my best trades. So, at times if a trade's in profit, if I feel good with it, I will swing trade. But I'm mostly an intraday trader, and I don't do a whole lot of scalping. Unless something just runs in my direction really quickly, then sure, I'll close it. But I don't go into it expecting that.
Yeah. What are your favorite pairs you like to trade?
I love gold, love the US 30, and then I love GBP pairs. But I do follow, I like to follow the major currencies, and I know that there's a lot, but to me, like what I'm interested in is like the euro, the US dollar, the pound, the yen. I like to follow a lot of those crosses. But then I do have a couple pairs that I keep, like the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, just to be able to find more opportunities. Because I'm pretty picky when I go on the charts with what I'm going to trade that day. Because if all I follow is gold and US 30 and there's no good opportunity for my strategy, well, now I can't take a trade. Well, I've got several other pairs that I can now go look at to have an opportunity. So that's why I follow more than just one or two things.
Now, walk us through the process of you like actually opening a trade, right? Do you do markups every day? Do you forecast at the beginning of the week? Kind of what goes into the point at which you start and then to the point at which you hit, buy or sell?
So every morning I will hop on the charts, see what happened overnight, and mark out new levels. I normally start with like a 4 hour, because on Sundays to like set the whole week up, I'm already looking at the daily, getting a idea. But I normally don't trade on Sunday or Monday because I want to kind of see what the new week is bringing to the market. And then around Tuesday, like Monday night, is really where I start getting ready to place my trades. I'll just look at the charts, at least every morning, as well as every night around like 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, to get ready for like the Asian session. I'll just map out new levels, get an idea of what's happened recently, and try to find what I can. And when I do, I take into account risk to reward ratio and going through my trading plan and making sure that it kind of meets all my rules, and then I place it. I try to just keep all emotions out, which to me this is a discipline game. So there's a lot of that goes into it, and yeah, that's kind of how I approach it though.
You do like market execution, or you do like stops and limit orders?
Market execution. Very rarely do I do limit orders, but almost every time that I place a trade, I get an idea of where I would want to exit the trade, and I'll put a stop loss, because sometimes what I hate is if you get price like when the market opens for a big push, it goes 10 pips into your stop loss and then zooms back into where you would have had profit. I hate that. That's happened to me too many times. So I've started to learn that, okay, let me accommodate for that with my position sizing, and then put a stop loss much higher to where I don't want it to get hit, because it would probably be 1.5% that I'd lose rather than 1%. But I do that just to be on the safe side of kind of knowing, okay, if I can at least keep this trade open, now I can manage it better. But yeah, mainly just market execution.
So let's kind of get into the charts a little bit. Maybe pull up, do a little breakdown for the people, and let's kind of see the thinking process behind what you're doing here.
Okay, so this was actually yesterday morning. This is gold. I woke up and around 7 a.m. I was checking out this chart, and I started on like a 4 hour, and I saw where price was definitely in a downtrend. Under the EMAs, I keep a 20, 50, and a 200 on my charts. Other than that, that's really about it. I have a stochastic RSI down low, just for like divergences, but really this is what I like to keep on the chart, so that I can see everything pretty clearly. And so this is actually what I woke up to look at the charts. And as I was checking it out, I was looking left and I saw this area over here of support, which was pretty significant. And there was pretty clean traffic in this area, because here we had, support right above, support right above, support right above, and it had just broken through. So in my, learnings, I kind of went down and said, okay, what would be awesome is if this can come back to retest this area and then continue pushing down to this area below. So I was actually on the hourly as the market was opening. This is at 6 a.m., so 7, 8 a.m. So this is the 8 a.m. candle, and I had put an alert. And if you look at this green candle in this area, I had actually moved this zone. to kind of outline that and put my alert down here, which will basically give me a little text if price comes into this area. So I was hoping that around market open, price would come here and I could enter a short. So I actually went ahead and put this graph on the chart, kind of had an idea of, where I would have a stop loss, where I would target. And I actually didn't even want to target this area. I just wanted to target the recent lows. Mm-hmm. And so then I'm going to go to the 30-minute because this happened pretty quickly. And as the market opened, you can see this candle. This was going into 9:30. So this is what I saw right as the market's opening. But on an hour, I'm knowing, okay, this is 30 minutes into it, and this is what the hour is doing. And it moves so quickly that I felt pretty damn confident that this is going to go down pretty quickly. So I entered this trade. And that's what it looked like on the hourly. So the next 30 minutes just went straight down. So as soon as it did that, I took profit off the table because it moves so quick. If this were to move, because, mind you, I risked 1% at this area. Mm-hmm. This was going to give me, 3-to-1 just to hit these lows. So I was already at, what was this area? Like a 1.5. But it happened within 30 minutes. So I went ahead and closed that trade. And at that point, I waited a little while longer and price almost did the same exact thing. I got another alert. And my alert was actually a little lower because I was getting these alerts on my phone. And as soon as it tapped this wick again, I was like, well, shit, it tapped it again. I'm already up 1.5%. Let's go again. And went right back down. I closed it out again. So that was a 3% day. And I want to say it did it again a couple more times. Yeah, I did it the next candle too. So it just kept, this is like an awesome gold setup. Where basically, if you're looking at it, like if I were to put a Fibonacci retracement on here, these, and I use the golden zone, which is basically, let me just put a box around it. It's like this area here. Kind of hard to see, I guess. Let me take some of this stuff off of here.
And you're really trading like true supply and demand right here.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, because when I think about it, it's like, okay, break and retest. Fibonacci pullback, deep Fibonacci pullback, downtrend. I've got a nice little supply zone. I've got clean traffic to the left that we saw a little while ago. It's just so many confluences saying this is going to go down. And then it happened right as the market's opening. So I'm thinking, well, hold on, the market's opening right now. This just spiked up to grab these orders to then come right back down. Pretty rare that you get that second spike up like I got, which was awesome because that was a 3% day. So, and 3% days add up big time.
Oh yeah. So it looks like for the most part, in this situation, you're trading off some impulse moves back in the supply zone, right? Looking for rejection in those areas, and really just comes down to you're identifying your zone, the liquidity zone, right? Area where you feel as though there's going to be rejection, and you're kind of just confident in that area. Now, would you say you do like some back testing with this, or how do you really become confident that these are the zones that you want to work with?
So supply and demand type stuff is really what this is based on. It's just looking back at the charts, and you could absolutely back test this. But back testing is challenging because when you back test, you really have to take into account timing. Because a lot of people will back test and just look at candles and they don't realize that they're trading a 2 p.m. candle, or a 7 p.m. candle. Right. You have to break it down and know, hey, is this a market open candle? Because if I were back testing this, I would have probably never even thought about this trade. I would still be looking at an opportunity, but that was actually an awesome trade. And then if I look over here, I can just see all these areas like this red candle right here. Even though some people might call that support, I would call this area, a nice order block area of demand. You can see if that price is touching, it's rebounding. Yeah,
it's pretty simple. price is zooming off that level previously. It's very likely it's going to show the same amount of liquidity in that zone. I think something that we even in the Forex League, like we talk about is just like you said. If you're going to back test, why don't you go session by session, right? When the session opens, that's when you should be starting your back test. You should be simulating the exact times that you're taking trades in the live market. Don't just randomly test the entire chart as a macro, figure. Like look at the exact times, the exact session that you're going to trade. That way you can get as close as possible. Obviously we know can't, you know, be exactly the same, but you can get as close as possible to those live kind of scenarios.
Exactly.
So with this strategy, how many? I see you got a lot of pairs here. You said gold, US 30 are kind of like your bread and butter, you know, as they say. One thing I will mention is we've seen from all the data that we've collected that gold and US 30 are definitely the most profitable amongst traders. They're definitely doing the best. Those pairs, Forex, not as much, and like the exotic pairs, really very little success rate with any of those. So it is interesting. Do you have anything with like US 30 that you want to cover? I imagine is it kind of the same, just supply and demand that you're working with?
Exactly. Yep. And actually, this is the trade that ended my funded account challenge right here. Okay, so I remember waking up one day and seeing this. I'm just gonna take some of this off real quick. And this is actually what ended up getting my last trade to win my funded account. Didn't really have, you know, like when I was looking over here, I saw, you know, this area and it was downtrending nicely. But then, you know, some of this kind of craziness and no real trend. But I had noted, you know, going into the day that this was a nice little ceiling, you know, no, what I would consider, you know, major zone of any kind. But I saw price go above it. I'm going to go to the next hour. This was, yep, 9. So I saw this candle close, okay? That's the market open candle. As soon as I saw that candle close, I got an idea of a break and retest to go up. So I actually was thinking, okay, around this area, I could target, I thought that these candles here were kind of clean. I wasn't as worried about this or this area just because they were, you know, they weren't at the same levels as each other and just some of this market junk. So I was really trying to target like what area did I think looked good? Well, I thought, you know, this area here had been a pretty big support, broke underneath. So I was hoping to target that area. And then I had a stop loss like right below the candle. So that gave me a really big risk to reward. And I was thinking, you know, hey, if this could turn out, you know, this trade would actually win my funded account. And then as I watched it, I want to say, let me think about this. Because I want to say that somewhere in here I saw a retest. And actually it might have been, hold on, you know what it was? Let me go to the 30-minute. I want to say it was a break and retest that I saw on the US 30.
Now, do you use the same moving averages as gold with US 30 too?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I use everything the same, very similar strategies. I'm wondering now if this was the trade because what I remember one of these had gone up, retested, you know, textbook, and just shot through the roof after that. But yeah, very similar stuff.
Now, did you start trading? What did you start like trading first? US 30, gold, Forex. Like, you know, how did that all kind of go down?
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, whenever I started trading, I was looking at like Great Britain pound, you know, US dollar pairs because I had just, you know, I heard that they moved really well from my other friends, and then basically we, you know, I started trading those. But then when I heard about gold and how much it moves, and then you know, the US 30, it's so easy to get, you know, the fundamental bias on US 30 that it was easy for me to kind of go in and, you know, start trading it. Obviously, it's, you know, position sizing and stuff, you know, just different math and learning that, but very small learning curve, I think.
Do you use a lot size calculator at all or no?
I do just for currency pairs. For US 30 and gold, you know, you can do the math pretty easily. But for the currency pairs, you know, some of them it's easier, but I just use my calculator.
Yeah, I find it much easier just to go with the calculator, especially if you're trying to avoid the drawdown, the daily drawdown. I mean, you could get knocked out by a few dollars by just putting the wrong lot size in, right? It's not smart.
By the way, this is the actual trade that I was thinking was down here. That trade still went up. So my, you know, it would have been a great trade, but I didn't take that trade. It was this trade that I saw price come up on the US 30, it tapped here, and then it broke above. And right when I woke up, I saw that at 7 a.m., I saw that it had retested this area and was going back up. And so when I woke up, and this is like a nice new trend forming going up. So when I woke up, as soon as I saw that candle had closed, it was this one here. I entered a trade with a stop loss below, and then I just targeted, I want to say, like these highs, and these 2 or 3 candles were my last trade to win the funded challenge.
Wow. So you really hit a winner at the end there. You hit a dinger.
Yeah, I know. And it's crazy because as soon as this candle took off, I just moved my stop loss to, I think it had like a 0.5% locked in. But then as I saw it still going, I was like, man, this might actually win the challenge for me. And it did, like an hour later. So.
Yeah. And what kind of went through your head like once you actually passed? You were like, oh wow, let's see if these guys actually give me my account.
Pretty much.
You're like, oh.
It was pretty exciting. It's kind of like I was saying earlier. This could truly be a life changer if you capitalize on it. A 600K account is nothing to frown on. So I was excited. I went and got some champagne in the middle of the day and popped it. Just kind of celebrated because and then obviously all my other trading friends, like I was saying, they actually had funded accounts too. So they were all excited and we kind of celebrated. It was cool.
Yeah, that's dope. So what are kind of your plans, moving forward? I mean, you got the account now, what is what do you think's next?
Just to start compounding this thing. I need to grow the account. I think really the first 30, 60, 90 days are like the most important, because if you can grow the account initially, then you always have the buffer to not have to worry about the 12% drawdown. Then you just have to be disciplined to not, go under the 6%. But, obviously out of the gate, losers happen. So, you don't know if you'll have 2 or 3 losers in a row. So if you do, obviously mentally you have to stay, and that's with any account, you have to stay intact and focused to keep things going in the right direction. But that's my first order of business, is get the account with a good buffer underneath it, to where then I can, trade monthly at that point and start getting withdrawals. So yeah. Yeah,
well, obviously, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for giving a little bit of a breakdown into the strategy that you're using. I can link down below if you have like an Instagram or anything where people can get in touch with you if they want to ask any questions. So we'll get that going if possible. And yeah, man, I look forward to obviously you getting the account. And I mean, if you end up getting some withdrawals, you're so close to me. I might have to come down there and hand deliver.
Anytime, man. Come on
down. Yeah. Well, again, thanks so much for all you guys that are watching. Make sure to like and subscribe the video. And yeah, thanks again. Good having you on, man.
Cool. Thanks, man. Good luck, everyone.